Roberto, thank you so much for joining me here at Super Return International.
Thank you for having me here.
There's a lot of conversation around tech and how that can help the private equity world here this week. And you can talk specifically to how software can change approach. What would you say about that at the moment?
There are different ways how people look at this. Most people tend to be very focused, most firms, in using software to increase the efficiency of what they do. But history says that when there is a technology wave, always the best is actually to rethink your processes using the technology instead of just trying to automate what exists. So I give you an example, right? Today is very obvious. What's the difference between eBay and Sotheby's? Sotheby's used the technology to increase the efficiency. eBay used the internet to create auctions, so without the internet could not be created. So I think the key question in the world of private equity and venture capital, it's less about how we can improve our internal processes using software, but more how could we re-engineer our investment processes the moment in which we started using software.
So it's not shoehorning software into what already exists,
Exactly.
basically.
I mean, I think, again, you will see different firms with different type of strategies. So I think we are going to observe some firms that are going to be very focused in forcing technology into their existing processes. And by the way, they will do also very well. But I really think there is a huge opportunity out there to actually totally rethink the investment process and say, with technology, I can do things otherwise I couldn't do.
In real terms, where have you seen this work?
I think seeing work, we've seen it in many different areas of finance. Think about everything has to do with trading, think about hedge funds, all of that, they've been totally transformed through the use of technology. I think as far as concern the investment in private companies, so private equity venture capital, I think we are a step behind that. And the reason why we are a little bit late in embracing, I would say, technology is very simple, because there is not Bloomberg of private companies. Therefore, your barrier to entry is much harder, because you really need to start creating data platforms that in many cases take a lot of engineering effort. And the reason why I stress engineering effort, because people tend to be very confused about machine learning and data science, think machine learning and data science can be a substitution for engineering, but actually you need both in order really to create this next wave of innovation.
So great opportunities out there from what you're saying, but also presumably some cautionary tales. Where should caution be applied?
I mean, caution needs to be applied, as always, right? In the meaning of every time there is something, there is the possibility it becomes a fashion, and then things become unsustainable. So I think the crucial element is nail your strategy and then think about software within the context of that strategy, but don't do innovation for the sake of innovation.
So what message do you most hope this audience at Super Return take away from what you have to say this week?
I would say that the next wave of great returns, because at the end that's what we care, IRR for our LPs, is going to become because we are going to see a new plethora of actors, some new firms, both in the private equity sector and in the venture capital sector, that will be capable to leverage software, data, and machine learning to create a sustainable competitive advantage. So there will be a new type of investment strategy, and few firms will become very successful in that.
And what do those firms need to possess? What attributes do they need to have to be able to be flexible, adaptable, nimble, like you described?
I might surprise you, but actually is the right company culture. That is a bit of a paradox. Yeah, I really believe it's about creating a new type of company culture. If you think about the current venture capital, private equity company culture, tended to be very professional service based, and what we are talking about is a type of company culture that actually, somehow unleash innovation and makes people make mistakes, but make people also try things. So what I will call in a single word, a product-oriented type of company culture in the technology meaning of it.
And in terms of the conversations you're having this week, are you confident and optimistic about that approach, or are these guys sort of slightly reluctant to change?
I think, we see this in innovation all the time, right? When any industry does well, why do you want to change, right? So it's very difficult to change while you're doing well. So there are two possibilities. Or you have an incredible vision and you can transform, or most probably there will be a new emerging type of set of new firms that will exploit this opportunity. And I think we are going to see a little bit of both, but culturally, for sure, it's much easier to create a new type of culture from scratch than evolve or change the existing company culture.
Roberto, thank you so much for sharing your insights. Great to talk to you.
Thank you so much to you.